All right, let's dive in and talk about this women's 100-meter dash. Now, just like the men, this is going to be extremely competitive, but I do think it's pretty clear we have one woman who is very much ahead of the pack and on pace to make the Olympic team. So let's dive into it. I'm of course going to break down the field, some of the top contenders, some of the main players, and then give you my top three as we look forward to the Olympic trials in just a few days. So at the top, like we all know, Sha'Carri Richardson. She is the #1 favorite right now to get to the Olympic Games. She's probably the gold medal favorite considering the landscape of the 100 meters. Shout out to Julian Alfred and some of the other Jamaicans. But Sha'Carri Richardson, this year, she's already run 10.83 seconds in the 100, personal best of 10.65 seconds, world champion from Budapest last year. She is, the top performer. And going into the Olympic trials, it's going to be hard to see anyone actually take her down. And I would expect her to even run a very fast time. Yes, she ran some, not great, quote unquote, 200s early on in the season. Very different start to her year. But then when she came to Prefontaine, she took down arguably the strongest field for the year in the women's 100-meter dash and ran that 10.83. So Sha'Carri Richardson, I think most people clearly have her as the favorite to make the U.S. Olympic team in the 100-meter dash this year. Then we get behind her, and it is extremely deep. So open, but next person I'm talking about is Aleia Hobbs. Now, Aleia Hobbs has actually only made one single USA team, which was back in 2022 when she finished second place at the USA Championships. Then she went on to make the final at the World Championships. She has a personal best of 10.81 seconds, and this year she's already run 10.88 seconds. She did have a couple windy fast times as well, and I think she didn't do as well at the New York City Grand Prix, but she's been running very, very consistently. She's able to put down some 10.8s, throughout her career. And I think this year is going to be her time to potentially make the team. It might be tough. We're going to get to my top three at the end, but Aleia Hobbs is in some very, very good form that I'm looking forward to seeing. And I think she realizes that, I've been kind of having some ups and downs. I've dealt with some injuries, specifically last year at USA. She wasn't able to, get through the final because she did get injured. Even indoors at World Indoors, right? She got injured, cramped up literally on the line in the final. So she's had so many injuries, so many ups and downs. At the last Olympic trials, she had like that, strange false start situation in the semis. Then she got put into the final. I think Aleia Hobbs is, really going to try and turn up and make this team to the Olympic Games. So we're going to see what actually plays out. But Aleia Hobbs, definitely want to keep a lookout for. Along with Hobbs and Richardson, we also have to talk about McKenzie Long. Coming out of Ole Miss, just finished off that amazing sprint triple at the NCAA Championships, 100, 200, and 4x1. In the 100 specifically, she ran a personal best of 10.91 seconds in the heats. Then she came back in the final, slightly windy, 10.8 seconds, 10.82 I think it was. And I mean, she is on fire at this point. Now, it's only 2 weeks removed from NCAAs. We've seen many athletes like an Abby Steiner, right? She's been able to kind of come back and make a team back in 2022. I think someone like McKenzie Long might be in a good position to do so. Yes, the 200 is, a lot stronger in the sense of she's run 21.83. I'll talk about the 200, tomorrow. But McKenzie Long does have a very good shot with that 10.92 to really, really put some damage here. Now, it's going to be tough because this will probably be one of the first times she's competing on the, quote unquote professional stage with, some of the top women in the country. But I think she's in a good position. So look out for her. Also have to talk about Melissa Jefferson. Melissa Jefferson has been another mainstay for the United States over the past couple years. When she came out of Eastern Carolina in 2022, she won USAs that year, went on to the World Championships and made the final. Last year, she didn't make the team, but she has been kind of creeping back up this year and really getting faster and faster week over week through all her races. Season's best of 10.94 seconds, personal best of 10.82 seconds, which she ran a couple years ago. I think Melissa Jefferson is also in a good position to get into that conversation of potentially making the team. Again, she didn't make it last year, but we might see her step things back up. And considering this landscape, it is very, very wide open. So Melissa Jefferson, another one in that conversation. Have to shout out Jacious Sears, from Tennessee. Not sure if she's actually going to run. She is, of course, declared in, I think, both the 100 and the 200. Has the world leading performance at 10.77 seconds, which she ran early in the season, either at Tom Jones or Florida Relays, one of those. But I mean, since then, she got injured at SECs. She didn't go to, regionals, didn't go to NCAAs, of course. But who knows? I mean, if she's been resting since then, maybe her coach, Dwayne Ross, they've been working on things to make sure she's prepared. Now, coming off of injury, it's going to be hard to say that she's going to run 10.7 or even 10.8 at that point as well. But who knows? Definitely have to keep her in the conversation depending on what she does. We're going to see when we get to those first rounds in the hundreds. Also, bouncing off that, let's talk about Tamari Davis. Now, Tamari Davis has kind of been one of the rising stars. I know everyone has had their eye on Tamari Davis since coming out of high school, going straight pro out of high school. She made the World Championship team last year to Budapest. She actually made the final at the Budapest World Championships as well in the 100-meter dash. So she is definitely very, very, strong in terms of a contender to make the team. Ran the leadoff leg for the USA 4x1 in Budapest. Also ran, at the Bahamas at the World Relays. Ran on the 4x1 there as well. So she's been a mainstay. She has the experience. She has the talent. Season's best of 10.94 seconds this year, personal best of 10.83, so very similar to like a Melissa Jefferson, but I do like Tamari Davis's chances to make the team. Again, she has that experience despite being one of the younger athletes in the field. Keep a lookout for her. She made it last year. This could be another year that she makes her first Olympic team. With that, let's bounce over to Tamara Clark. I feel like Tamara Clark kind of gets looked over a little bit considering she isn't as flashy. She doesn't have, these significantly fast times relative to some other athletes, but she has been extremely, extremely consistent all throughout 2024 and definitely in the past as well. Let's not forget, she made the 2022 World Championship team in the 200. Last year, she almost made the 100 team. I think she came 4th place at USA's. Personal best of 10.88 seconds from last year. This year, she's already run 10.98 seconds. And if you're already running sub 11, that puts you in the conversation for a team. Again, Tamara Clark isn't one of those flashy athletes who's always out here talking or always out here boasting, but she can very well sneak in here and get on the team. So shout out to Tamara Clark. Definitely keep an eye out for her. A couple others, you have someone like Celera Barnes. Celera Barnes has kind of been very consistent throughout the year. Personal best of 10.94 seconds. Season's best of 11.02 seconds. She trains with Tamara Clark, with Gabby Thomas, Cambridge Sturgis. So she's in a very, very good group. Might see her really throw something down strong at USA's. You could see also Candace Hill. Candace Hill has had kind of a resurgence in, performance and talent since going pro, all the way back in 2015, right? She's been signed with ASICS, throughout the entire time, dealt with some injuries, ups and downs, some surgery. But this year, she already ran a best of 11.01 seconds, which is her second fastest time ever, only behind her personal best of 10.98, which actually got her the, that contract that made her go pro out of high school. So kind of crazy. She also equaled the American record in the 150 at the Adidas Atlanta City Games. So we'll see how that kind of plays out. But Candace Hill, definitely one to keep a lookout for. Also, we have someone like Abby Steiner. Abby Steiner, kind of a question mark because we're not sure of her status. She, I think, last ran at the LA Grand Prix in the 200, but hasn't done as well in the 100 meters yet, right? She has a season's best of 11.05, personal best of 10.90 seconds. She hasn't been known as like the strongest 100-meter sprinter. I mean, 10.90 is very, very strong, but we're going to see how she kind of shows up for USA's here in the 100 and the 200. Hopefully she's healthy, and if she is, she could very much be in that conversation. I also want to give a shout out to TT Terry. Let me never forget TT Terry, right? Only has a season's best of 11.19 seconds, but does have a personal best of 10.82. And she is always in the mix when talking about the 100-meter dash. Made the team in 2022, just missed the team in 2023 last year, but she has been on the relay year after year after year. So look out for TT Terry. But those are kind of the main players that I'm looking at when talking about the 100-meter dash at these Olympic trials. Going to be a very hot race. When I'm looking at my top 3 though, well, like I said, number 1, it's pretty easy to guess, Sha'Carri Richardson. Number 2, Aleia Hobbs. And number 3, I'm picking Melissa Jefferson to make this team. Now, this is kind of a hard pick because behind Sha'Carri, it's a very, very wide open field. I would say that Aleia Hobbs, in my opinion, is probably the slight favorite ahead of the rest of the field, considering how she's able to be really consistent in that 10.8 range. Yes, she has some injury woes and some injury questions, overall, but I think Aleia Hobbs is going to be really, really good to make her first Olympic team. And then Melissa Jefferson, just considering the progress and the progression that she's been having all throughout the year, where she started off running 11s, then she got down to sub 11, running 10.9. I think Melissa Jefferson is really going to make that team. And she has this kind of quiet confidence that I really, really do appreciate. But she is dangerous. Don't forget, when she won the USA's back in 2022, she ran like, what was it, wind aided 10.7 or 10.6? Someone could kind of fact check me. I'll put it on the screen here. But she is a dangerous, dangerous threat. This is her first full year, I think, training under Dennis Mitchell. So listen, Melissa Jefferson might be that one. But I do also want to, I kind of teetered between Melissa Jefferson, between Tamari Davis, and also between Tamara Clark. I think those 3 are going to be the strongest shots to make the team, considering they have the experience. They've all been to world championships. They've all competed amongst the best in the world. They've all run, sub 11 this year. So we're going to see, but let me know what you think about the women's 100-meter dash. Do you think that Sha'Carri is the clear favorite, or do you think that she could get upset by somebody else? And also, what time do you think is going to win the Olympic trials this year? Are we going to see a 10.6, 10.7, or is it going to be 10.8, 10.9? Who knows? Let me know what you think. Be sure to put your top 3 in the comments. Let me know. Always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.